Born and raised on the streets of João Pessoa, Matheus Cunha grew up dreaming of one thing: playing in the Premier League. Fast forward a few years, and that dream took a slightly unexpected turn, because on a cold, rainy afternoon at Anfield, Cunha wasn't just living his dreams, he was starring in the nightmares of Twerkez and Konaté. Legend has it that they're still hearing faint echoes of Rubens at the wheel as they chase Cunha's shadows in training today. Every time Liverpool pressed, he samba'd his way past Twerkez. Every time Konaté tried to body him, he spun him like a fidget spinner from 2016. By the end of the full-time whistle, Anfield wasn't booing, they were Googling how to stop Matheus Cunha. In today's video, we're breaking down exactly how Ruben Amorim outsmarted Arne Slot, gave Liverpool centre-back nightmares, and how Matheus Cunha turned Anfield into his personal futsal court. So Arne Slot looked a little surprised right from the start when he saw United's lineup, because Ruben Amorim decided to drop Benjamin Šeško. That's right, Šeško, the guy who had scored in his last 2 Premier League games and started the last 4 in a row, was suddenly on the bench. Slot even said something like, "We've seen Šeško played the last 3, 4, 5, 6 games, but they come to Liverpool and change the lineup." So in Slot's own words, Amorim completely caught him off guard with the team selection, and it definitely showed. But it wasn't just a matter of picking Cunha over Šeško. It was the specific instructions that Amorim gave Cunha that caused havoc in the Liverpool defense. So let's start our discussion off by talking through some tactics here. Based on the passing networks that we saw in that game, this was Liverpool's average positions that you'll see on screen now. And it's pretty much what you would expect going into this game, with both center backs being really high up the pitch on the halfway line and both fullbacks and wingers being pushed really high and wide in United's half. The surprising thing for me was that Slot played McAllister and Szoboszlai as almost 2 10s, with Gravenberch being the sole CDM in behind, who himself was quite often dribbling forward with the ball. So this was a really attacking setup from Slot, almost to the point of being disrespectful, because you're literally playing 7 attacking players and trusting your 2 center backs and the CDM to take care of all the threats that United have to throw at you. Now, if Šeško started this game instead of Cunha, he would have been almost playing touch tight to either Konaté or Twerkez, offering United a target man to win headers from long balls and for general hold-up play when we needed to progress the ball up the pitch. But Amorim said after the game, and I quote, "If we put Šeško here, it's easy for these types of center backs to control our striker." And he's talking about the fact that both Konaté and Twerkez have really good physical capabilities, and as big as Šeško is at 6'5", these guys are both 6'4", so they can, nullify some of his strengths of winning that first duel and maybe being physical with them. So Amorim went with Cunha instead of Šeško and played a false 9 that actually had an average position much deeper than even Mbeumo and Cunha, and more in line with Bruno actually, and his goal was to actively stay away from Konaté and Twerkez as much as possible, and instead pick up these pockets of space on the left-hand side between Salah, Bradley, and Szoboszlai, and on the right-hand side between McAllister, Gravenberch, and Twerkez. Not only did this give us an extra man in midfield to beat the Liverpool press with our passing, it also provided us some much-needed progressive carrying from deep, because Cunha was able to dribble past Liverpool defenders after he picked the ball up here. And the tactical impact of this on Twerkez and Konaté was that they never had a reference point next to them to know where they should position themselves. As strong physical center backs, I'm sure they would have preferred someone like Šeško to be tight and right in between them, but instead they had to watch Cunha from 5, 10, 15 feet away like they had a restraining order against him. And just when they were about to switch off, both Mbeumo and Cunha were making these bending runs around both of these guys like they were Formula 1 safety cars anticipating a crash at turn 3. So let's take a look at some clips of Cunha causing havoc in midfield at Anfield. So we start here in the 14th minute where Lammens has just kicked it long. As the ball goes forward towards Konaté, look at how Mount is kind of in the half space between Bradley and Konaté on the left-hand side here, and look at how Mbeumo is just off Twerkez and Twerkez in this space over here. And Cunha is actually much deeper in midfield, occupying this massive box of space between the 3 Liverpool midfielders. As Konaté wins the first header, it goes towards Szoboszlai, but Szoboszlai can't control it, and the ball is free towards Casemiro in midfield. And again, we have Cunha here just up ahead of him in tons of space to pick the ball up and run in this direction. And that's exactly what happens as Cunha receives it. He rides the press from both Szoboszlai and McAllister and drives a little deeper into midfield to find Ahmad on the right-hand side here. And as Ahmad receives this ball, he's going to pass it off to De Ligt in the back. Take a look at Cunha's position, guys. He is between Gakpo and McAllister. In this spot right here, he's in between Gakpo and McAllister. And he's basically asking for a ball over the top from De Ligt, who's just behind my head there. And that's exactly where De Ligt puts it first time, but it's actually for Mbeumo up ahead. And Twerkez wins this first ball, but guess who's there to win the second ball, guys? Up ahead of McAllister here. Cunha gets first to it, but unfortunately he can't get it under control, and Twerkez is able to clear it out. So we're seeing how Cunha is pulling strings all over the pitch. He picks up the ball on the left side of midfield, passes it out to Ahmad on the right, then he makes a run from deep in midfield into attack on the right-hand side to win this second ball from Twerkez. The Liverpool midfielders don't know how to mark him. The Liverpool defenders don't know where he is. He's just an absolute nuisance for Liverpool in that whole game. Now we start our second clip in the 42nd minute of the game where Casemiro's just won the second ball from a long kick again, and he's passing it forward into Mason Mount here. Take a look at Cunha in the middle. He's staying 5 or 10 feet away from the back line, and he's free to make any run he wants here. He can go in between Konaté and Twerkez here. He can go in between Twerkez and Twerkez here, or just stay in this pocket and draw one of these guys out to create room for Mbeumo in behind. As Mount receives it here, he lays it off to Shaw, who then gives it back to Casemiro, and then Casemiro lays it back to Shaw. And guys, look at how relaxed we are on the ball at Anfield. You can tell that Amorim has prepared the team to play well against the Liverpool press and also deal with the atmosphere of Anfield behind them. And give credit to the players as well, because they've done a very good job of executing Amorim's game plan to perfection. Now we go forward like 10 seconds of in-game time, and United have just recycled the ball on the left-hand side to get back to Dalot here. And you can see both Bruno and Cunha are in tons of space to pick up the ball in midfield. Specifically, see how Cunha is still a few feet off of Twerkez. Now Dalot gets ready to fire this ball through to Bruno, and Bruno does this nasty step over to let the ball through to Cunha. And as soon as this happens, you see Twerkez twerking in his boots because he knows he has to come and close this ball down and win the ball. But Cunha is smart enough to take a quick touch back to Bruno, who easily lays it back to him in front. And look at this, guys. Look at what we have done to the best center back in the world. He's looking more like Jamie Carragher after a night out than Paolo Maldini. He's completely out of position and panicking, and now Konaté has to sprint across like he's late for the last train home. So we see Cunha dribbling forward here, and Konaté has to run across all the way here to dive desperately to win the ball in front of Cunha. And he's able to knock it loose, but he's come all the way out of position, and he's basically marking Ahmad at right wing back. Now Ahmad lays it out to Bruno in the back, and he fires it up to Cunha, and Cunha takes a touch and lays it off to Mbeumo. Guys, look at Liverpool's defensive structure here. Konaté is in defensive midfield ahead of Gravenberch. Twerkez is basically playing like a central center back in a back three with tons of space on either side of him. And you still have Cunha, Mbeumo, and Ahmad all free to receive the ball, take a touch, and decide what they want to do. For all of you guys that were asking, oh, explain how it was a tactical masterclass when Liverpool had all this XG and they hit the post twice. This freeze frame right here, guys, is why. All of this happens because Amorim deploys Cunha in the false nine, and our Brazilian maestro executes the game plan to perfection. Now, as we skip forward a bit, Ahmad goes back to Bruno, who's about to find Cunha again over here. And guess what, guys? Twerkez is asleep at the wheel again because Konaté is running back to get back into his right center back position, and he's just standing there probably thinking about what song he's going to twerk to in the post-match TikTok. So Cunha receives this ball, and obviously Twerkez is panicking now to get back into position. But Cunha takes a nice touch on the inside and gets ready to shoot right here, and he puts it wide. Cunha's done like 50 things right here before taking a poor final decision, because the pass into Mount so that he can actually spin into this area and receive another pass back from Mount is probably the right thing to do here. But hey, I'll take him making Twerkez look like a non-league center back any day of the week. Here we are in the 59th minute of the second half now, and Mbeumo is just trying to progress the ball up the pitch. Again, we see Cunha sitting off of both center backs here, and this time he's in between the defensive and the midfield lines. As we play along, Mbeumo lays this off to Cunha, and here comes the Flying Dutchman with his arms up in the air like he's about to take off, but the only thing flying here is Cunha past him. Now, he gets the ball back from Mbeumo, and United are basically 3v3 against the Liverpool backline right here. And guys, in all seriousness, we've just seen 2-3 examples of terrible defending by Twerkez here, And everyone lives so far up his ass that they fail to believe their eyes when they see stuff like this. As we play it forward, Twerkez comes back tight to Cunha again to commit his second assault of the game after assaulting Petr in midfield. And he's able to ride the challenge here, but he falls to the ground and then he takes another press from Szoboszlai. Right around here, you see Szoboszlai coming up and he's about to go tight to Cunha, but Cunha has been able to get up and he takes another press, but he's able to pass it back to the on-rushing Ugarte in the back here. I just want to clap when I see stuff like this from Cunha, guys. Not only has he embarrassed the best center back in the world for the 50th time in this game, he has allowed United to take the pressure off by willing us forward by like 40 yards. This is inspirational stuff from our Brazilian maestro. Now we go to the 68th minute when Šeško has come onto the pitch and Cunha's in the left-hand spot instead of Mount. And you see, Slot has moved Szoboszlai into right back, but Cunha's still sitting far off of him. As we skip forward a bit, the loose ball from this duel is won by Cunha here, and he kind of wins that and sees Dorgu is available in space, so he just takes it easy and rolls it out to Dorgu up ahead. Again, we see an example of how deep Cunha is dropping because Bruno is up ahead of him, and Šeško, the more traditional 9, is right in between Twerkez and Konaté like they would prefer him to be. As we play it forward a bit further, Dorgu lays this off to Cunha and tries to run forward. We see it right there. And Cunha tries to play a 1-2 with Bruno here so that he can run in behind both Wirtz and Szoboszlai and get in behind the whole Liverpool back line basically. But unfortunately, Bruno loses the ball because he takes a loose touch and the play ends there. But we have yet another example of Cunha dropping deep to pull the strings and cause havoc for Liverpool's defensive structure. Now we fast forward a few seconds from that previous clip in the 68th minute, and again we have the ball out on the right hand side with space on the left hand side for United because Liverpool are still trying to press incredibly high, and Bruno is able to easily roll this out to Cunha on the left like Wirtz doesn't exist. And again, let's appreciate how deep Cunha is picking up the ball here. He's inside our own half, and as we play it along, he takes a nice first touch, and appreciate this next second of play, guys, because he rolls it past Szoboszlai like he doesn't even exist. And now we see the gaps in Liverpool's defensive structure like Moses himself has parted the sea for Cunha. Cunha drives forward with the ball, and basically Szoboszlai's panicking, so he easily cuts inside, lets him kind of roll past him, and Cunha still gets forward and finds even more space in the midfield, like literally like it's a bunch of statues he's playing against. But pay attention to Dorgu, who's trying to get into this left-hand side in the space that Cunha has just vacated. So Cunha drives forward and he takes a glance to see where Dorgu is. And basically, as he gets closer to Wirtz, he fires a pass across in this channel and it makes it past Szoboszlai again to create a bunch of space for Dorgu here. And then as Dorgu himself drives forward, he's kind of trying to get to the byline and maybe cut it back. Look at the state of Liverpool's defensive structure, guys. You can barely see Dorgu's hand over there, but look at how much space there is between the back line and the midfield. Bruno is literally in tons of space. He has enough time for the ball to be cut back to him to make a call to his mom and tell her that he's about to score at Anfield. I don't think people realize how early Slot threw the kitchen sink at this game. This is the 68th minute, guys, and we have Szoboszlai at right back, a midfield of Wirtz, Ekitike, and Curtis Jones, and a front three of Isak, Gakpo, and Salah. So Dorgu's cutback here is slightly a little further ahead of Bruno, but, you know, if this pass is a good one, which, again, you know, Dorgu's young, we know his decision-making is bad, I'm pretty sure Bruno can put this in the back of the net with how far the defenders and the midfielders are from Bruno here. So there you have it. We've seen 5 examples of how Amorim used Cunha as a false 9 to outcoach Slot in that game. And I'm going to be honest, guys, if our first goal comes in like the 40th minute instead of the 2nd minute like it did, I think we would have seen a lot more XG from United as well, because Liverpool were wide open, man. And even then, we should have been 2-0 up in the 24th minute with Bruno and probably 3-0 up with this cutback from Dorgu in the 68th minute. So Amorim and Cunha deserve a lot of credit for this performance because, let's be honest, both of them have been put on fraud watch by the media, the ex-players, and even some of our own fans since the start of the season. Cunha because he's 008 now, and Amorim because, well, I guess everyone just loves hating on Amorim. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below about this video. Was Cunha your man of the match? Are you still buzzing from that game just like I am? Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.